Yes, here we are again to tell you about more of the first wave of these superhumans to bring havoc to the streets. We'll start with Candy Bane. His real name was Victor Kane, a ruthless, muscle-bound enforcer and debt collector for the Dilio Riders. Victor was known for being brutal, no-nonsense, and always looking for ways to make people suffer. When MC Mufasa began pushing Jekyll Juice, Victor saw it as his chance to become unstoppable. "I don't want to be flashy," he growled. "I want to break people, make them suffer sweetly." He drank the juice. The transformation was nightmarish and strangely festive. Victor's body bulked up even further into a monstrous, muscular frame. His head became encased in a white skull mask with glowing red eyes, and a giant red and white striped candy cane sprouted from the top. His arms and legs gained red and white spiral patterns, and he gained the horrifying ability to turn anything he touches into deadly, weaponized candy. He can transform metal into exploding peppermint sticks, concrete into sticky taffy that traps victims, or even air into toxic sugar clouds. His most feared ability is the Candy Crush. He can inject victims with a concentrated dose of sugar that makes their bodies swell, crystallize, or violently explode in a shower of candy. Now known as Candy Bane, he has fully embraced the villain aesthetic and refers to himself in the third person. The Sweet Destruction. Captain Tougharm was in the middle of dealing with the chaos when he got reports of a giant skull-faced man with a candy cane head turning an entire neighborhood into a deadly gingerbread nightmare. When he arrived, Candy Bane was standing in the middle of a street covered in sticky taffy and peppermint landmines. "Tougharm," Candy Bane growled, his deep voice echoing from behind the skull mask. "You finally show yourself." Tougharm landed, eyes narrowed. "Victor, you too." "It's Candy Bane now," he roared, smashing his fist into a car. The vehicle instantly transformed into a giant exploding peppermint patty. "Your father's gift has made me perfect. Everything I touch becomes sweet and deadly." He lunged forward with surprising speed for his size. Tougharm dodged and wrapped his elastic right arm around Candy Bane's torso, trying to restrain him. But the moment his arm made contact, it began turning into hardened rock candy. "Get off me," Tougharm yelled, quickly stretching his arm free before it crystallized. Candy Bane laughed maniacally and inhaled deeply. He blew out a thick cloud of sugary vapor that made Tougharm's lungs burn. "You can't stop the sweetness, hero. Soon the whole city will be my playground. One touch, and they all break like candy." Captain Tougharm blasted him with eye lasers, cracking part of the skull mask, but Candy Bane just smiled wider underneath. "The juice keeps getting better, and I'm only getting started. Honestly, I personally think this villain might have a future in the North Pole if he ever gets his act together." Now on to the next one. They call him Cannon Hands. His real name was Marcus Gonzalez, a former Army veteran and heavy weapons enthusiast who joined the Dilio Riders looking for excitement after his discharge. Marcus was obsessed with firepower, guns, rockets, explosives. If it went boom, he loved it. So when MC Mufasa started handing out Jekyll Juice, Marcus knew exactly what he wanted. "Give me the biggest guns you got," he said. "I want to be the heaviest artillery on the streets." He drank the juice. The transformation was violent and permanent. His hands and forearms mutated and fused into two massive, black metallic cannon barrels. He no longer has hands, just powerful, retractable artillery cannons built into his arms. He can fire explosive shells, energy blasts, grappling hooks, and even rapid-fire bullets. The cannons are extremely strong but also heavy, making him top-heavy and a little clumsy in close quarters. Now known simply as Cannon Hands, he's become one of the most destructive enforcers working for the new Dilio Riders. He loves his new form. The Heavy Artillery. Captain Tougharm was already overwhelmed dealing with the Ant Hill, the Beehive, Billy Bombs, and Blow Champ when new reports came in. A man with literal cannons for hands was blowing holes in buildings downtown. When Tougharm arrived, Cannon Hands was standing in the middle of a ruined intersection, dual cannons smoking. "Cannon Hands in the building," he roared, flexing his massive arms. "You here to get shelled, hero?" Tougharm hovered above him, staring in disbelief. "Marcus, you turned your hands into cannons." Best decision I ever made. Cannon Hands laughed. He raised both arms and fired a dual explosive barrage that forced Tough Arm to dodge wildly through the air. The explosions lit up the street. "You see this?" Cannon Hands shouted proudly. "No more carrying guns. I am the gun. Your daddy's juice gave me everything I ever wanted. Now I'm walking heavy artillery." He fired a grappling hook from one cannon, snagged Tough Arm's leg, and yanked him down hard. As Tough Arm crashed into the pavement, Cannon Hands stood over him, both barrels glowing with charged energy. "You can stretch and shoot lasers all you want, pretty boy, but when Cannon Hands shows up, everything goes boom." Captain Tough Arm barely managed to stretch his elastic arm around one of the cannons and redirect a point-blank shot before it fired. The explosions still knocked both of them back. As more mutated freaks continued to appear across the city, Tough Arm realized the terrifying truth. Jekyll Juice wasn't just creating random superhumans anymore. It was creating an army. These motherfuckers just kept showing up, and Captain Tough Arm could only stop them for the moment. The next one we'll shed light on was Charlie Chaos. His real name was Charlie Hayes, a laid-back, stylish barber from Garden City who always kept a fresh fade and took pride in his appearance. When the Jekyll Juice wave hit the Dilio Riders, Charlie was curious but skeptical. "Man, I already look good," he said, "but if this stuff can take my hair game to the next level, I'm in." He took a single sip. The mutation was dramatic and instant. Charlie's hair exploded outward, growing into a massive, wild, gravity-defying mane of thick black hair that flowed and moved as if it had a mind of its own. Not only did the hair on his head become enormous, but he gained total control over every hair on his body, including his beard, eyebrows, arm hair, and even the tiny hairs on his knuckles. He can extend them like tentacles, harden them into sharp spikes, use them as whips, create protective armor, or launch them like needles. Now known as Charlie Chaos, he fully embraced the chaotic energy. He wears a sleek red and black superhero-style outfit with red boots and gloves. His signature look is the giant flowing mane that constantly moves and shifts behind him like a living cape. The first encounter, Captain Tough Arm was flying across the city, trying to contain the growing Jekyll Juice chaos, when he spotted a man standing on top of a moving bus, his massive hair whipping wildly in the wind like a living storm. Tough Arm landed on the bus roof. "Charlie, that you, man?" Charlie Chaos turned around with a cocky grin, his enormous hair swirling dramatically behind him like a dark halo. "Damn right it's me. Call me Charlie Chaos now, hero. This Jekyll Juice turned my hair into a whole superpower. Watch this." He flexed, and his hair suddenly shot forward like dozens of thick black tentacles, wrapping around a streetlight and ripping it out of the ground. He then spun the pole like a staff before launching it like a javelin. Tough Arm barely dodged it. "You're using this stuff to cause destruction?" Tough Arm asked, frustrated. "Nah, I'm just having fun," Charlie laughed. "You ever had a bad hair day? This is the opposite. My hair does whatever I want now. I can choke you, slap you, tie you up, or give you the world's strongest perm. Your call." Charlie's hair suddenly surged forward in a massive wave, trying to engulf Tough Arm. The hero used his elastic right arm to stretch and weave through the attack, but the hair kept adapting, twisting, and grabbing at him. Charlie Chaos struck a pose, hands on his hips, hair dramatically flowing in the wind. Pops was right, Tough Arm. The world was too boring before. Now it's got style and chaos. The powers these people were getting seemed to somehow reflect on their personalities and desires, and we still haven't seen any other heroes appear. Now let me tell you about my personal favorite. A man named Diego Hernandez became Little Chief Wooden Face, or simply Diego the Puppet. Diego Hernandez was a quiet, crafty fast food worker and full-time rock collector who ran a small stall selling corn at the Mexican flea markets. He was known for making out with random men against their will. When the Jekyll Juice wave swept through the streets of Caldwell, Diego saw it as his big break. "I've always wanted dope powers," he said with a sly smile. "Now I will have some." He drank the juice. The transformation was one of the strangest yet. Diego shrank down to roughly 3 feet tall. His entire body turned into living wood, jointed like a marionette with visible seams at his elbows, knees, and waist. His face became a carved and wooden with bold red and white painted patterns, black stringy hair, and empty eye sockets that somehow still showed expression. He was dressed in traditional Native American-inspired clothing made of real leather, beads, and fringe, complete with a feathered headdress that moved on its own. He didn't just become a puppet. He became a living wooden doll with full control over his body. He can detach and reattach his limbs, stretch his wooden joints, and control other wooden objects around him like a true puppet master. Now going by Diego the Puppet, he speaks in a high-pitched, creaky voice and refers to himself as the Rainbow of the Ancestors, while committing petty crimes and causing absolute chaos. The wooden menace, Captain Tougharm, was tracking yet another Jekyll Juice victim when he heard reports of a tiny wooden figure robbing an entire sex toy store, using the store's own toys as an army. When Tougharm arrived, Little Chief Wooden Face was standing on the counter, arms outstretched like a conductor, while dozens of animated toys vibrated out the front door carrying stolen goods. "Craig Tripp," the little puppet squeaked in a raspy voice. "You come to see the power of the ancestors?" Tougharm stared down at the 3-foot-tall wooden doll in full tribal regalia. "You turned yourself into a puppet. I am Little Chief Wooden Face now. But you can call me Diego the motherfucking Puppet," he declared dramatically, striking a pose. "No more struggling to make ends meet. Now I control the strings. Watch." He flicked his wooden fingers, and a group of dildos suddenly jumped at Tougharm, trying to penetrate him with their shafts. Tougharm easily swatted them away with his elastic arm, but more kept coming. "You're really helping my dad spread this poison?" Tougharm asked, exasperated. Diego laughed, a high wooden creaking sound. "Poison. This is a blessing. I used to be ignored. Now I'm unforgettable. One sip and you two can become whatever you want. Maybe I'll turn you into a nice wooden strap-on. You'd make a great shelf," snapped his fingers, and his own detachable wooden arm flew off, wrapped around Tougharm's leg, and tried to drag him down while the rest of his body kept directing the toy army. Captain Tougharm ripped the arm off and tossed it back. The puppet casually reattached it midair. "This is getting out of control." Tougharm muttered. Little Chief Wooden Face struck another dramatic pose, wooden joints clicking. "The show has only just begun, hero. The whole world is my stage now. I personally love this guy. He's such a little cutie, and his powers are ridiculous." Now on to the next one, Colorator. His real name was Colin Ryder, a quiet, artistic graffiti artist who specialized in vibrant street art. Colin always felt the world was too dull and grey. When Mufasa started distributing Jekyll Juice, he saw his chance to make everything more colorful. "I want to control color itself," he said before drinking the juice. "Make the world pop." The mutation was subtle at first, then terrifying. Colin's body became a living color palette. His suit turned into a sleek black base with shifting rainbow stripes. But his true power was far darker than he expected. He gained the ability to steal the color from anything he touches: objects, buildings, vehicles, and even people. When he drains color, the target turns dull gray, lifeless, and monochrome. He can store the stolen colors and release them as powerful energy blasts, create solid constructs, or dramatically change his own appearance. Now known as Colorator, he has fully embraced the villain role. He sees himself as an artist bringing true vision to a boring world by stripping it of color and repainting it as he sees fit. The color thief, Captain Tougharm, was flying over the city when he saw something disturbing. An entire city block had been drained of all color. Buildings, cars, trees, even people walking around looked like they were in an old black and white movie. In the center of the gray zone stood Colorator, glowing with stolen vibrant colors swirling around him. "Colin," Tougharm landed, horrified. "What have you done?" Colorator turned with a calm, almost artistic smile. "It's Colorator now. The juice gave me the ultimate artistic power. I can take the color from anything and make it mine." He reached out and touched a bright red fire hydrant. The color instantly drained from it, turning it dull gray as a wave of red energy flowed into Colorator's body. "Beautiful, isn't it?" he said, admiring the stolen red swirling in his palm. "The world was so loud with color. Now I decide what deserves to shine." He suddenly fired a blast of combined stolen colors at Tougharm. The hero barely dodged as the beam exploded against a building, turning part of it gray on impact. Tougharm charged forward, stretching his elastic right arm to grab Colorator. The moment he made contact, he felt his green and black suit start losing its vibrancy. "You're next, hero," Colorator whispered. "Imagine a world without color, peaceful, gray, perfect." Captain Tougharm ripped his arm away before the drain could spread further, but the damage was done. Part of his suit was now dull and faded. As more and more mutated freaks continued appearing across the city, Tougharm realized the nightmare was only getting worse. Jekyll Juice wasn't just creating monsters, it was creating artists of destruction. Now let us talk about the baddie named Drip. Her real name was Driana Brooks, a flashy, social media-obsessed influencer known for her love of luxury brands, designer clothes, and staying drippy with the latest fashion and jewelry. When that gangster rap star Mufasa started pushing Jekyll Juice, Driana saw it as the ultimate glow-up. "I already drip on these hoes," she said, posing for a selfie. "But imagine if I literally dripped." She drank 2 full cans while filming herself for her followers. The transformation was instant and extreme. Her entire body liquefied into a shimmering, translucent blue water form. She can now shift between a solid-looking humanoid shape and a completely liquid state. She can stretch, reshape, splash, and reform at will. Her hair is a flowing cascade of liquid that constantly drips and reforms. She can shoot high-pressure water jets, create whirlpools, turn into mist, or drown people by forcing herself into their lungs. She kept her confident, diva personality and now calls herself simply Drip. The Liquid Assassin. Captain Tougharm was chasing down another Jekyll Juice victim when he saw a woman made entirely of water walking across the desert sand like it was a runway, leaving a trail of glistening puddles behind her. "Driana," he called out as he landed. She turned, striking a pose with one hand on her hip as water dripped seductively from her form. "It's drip now, baby," she said with a smirk, her voice sounding like it was bubbling underwater. "Your daddy's juice gave me the ultimate look. No more bad hair days, no more dry skin, I am the Drip." She raised her hand and shot a high-pressure water blast at Tougharm, forcing him to dodge. "You're helping turn the whole city into freaks," Tougharm shouted. Drip laughed, her liquid body rippling. "Freak, honey, this is an upgrade. Everybody wants to be wet now. Watch this." She suddenly dissolved into a wave and rushed forward, trying to engulf Tougharm completely. He stretched his elastic arm and created a barrier, but she simply flowed around it and reformed behind him. "You can't fight water, hero," she teased, reforming with a cocky smile. "I can drown you, wash you away, or slip right through your fingers. The whole world is about to get soaked." Captain Tougharm blasted her with eye lasers, evaporating part of her liquid form into steam. Drip screamed, then quickly pulled moisture from the air to reform. "This isn't cute anymore," Tougharm growled. Drip reformed with a wicked smile, water dripping from her curves. "Oh baby, it's just getting started." Now finally onto our last random villain to appear, a man known as Eyeless. His real name was Ellis Vance, a former underground MMA fighter known for his toughness and durability. When the Jekyll Juice wave hit, Ellis wanted something simple. "I just want to see better in the ring," he said. "Give me eyes in the back of my head or some shit." He drank the juice. The mutation was brutal and ironic. Ellis lost both of his real eyes completely. They literally melted out of his sockets during the transformation. In their place, he gained superhuman enhanced senses, hearing, smell, touch, and a strange 360-degree spatial awareness. He can see the world around him better than most people with perfect vision. But the real kicker, the stupid, painful side effect, came with his secondary power. Whenever he tries to use eye lasers, beams shoot out from where his eyes used to be, blasting straight out of his empty, scarred eye sockets. Every single time he fires them, the lasers completely destroy the surrounding tissue and bone. The pain is excruciating. After every use, he has to be rushed to the hospital for emergency surgery and healing. He now has a single large, glowing eye in the center of his chest, and sometimes one appears on his forehead when he's really amped up. Because of this, he goes by Eyeless. Despite the constant pain and medical bills, he refuses to stop using the laser power. He calls it his ultimate move. The painful showdown, Captain Tougharm was tracking yet another Jekyll Juice victim when he found a muscular, golden-skinned man standing in an abandoned lot, covering his destroyed eye sockets with both hands while groaning in agony. Ellis, Tougharm landed cautiously. Eyeless slowly lowered his hands, revealing 2 smoking, cauterized craters where his eyes used to be. "Yeah, it's me," he growled through gritted teeth. "Took the juice thinking it would give me an edge. Now I can sense everything around me, but every time I try to shoot lasers, this happens." He pointed at the fresh wounds on his face. Tougharm winced. "So stop using them." "Can't," Eyeless said, already charging up again. A single large eye opened on his chest. "This power is too strong." "Watch," he turned toward a nearby abandoned car and screamed as he forced the power out. Twin laser beams erupted violently from his empty eye sockets, blasting the car into pieces. The recoil made him drop to one knee in agony as blood and smoke poured from the fresh damage. "Every damn time," he hissed. Tougharm stared in disbelief. You're literally blinding yourself over and over again just to use the lasers. Eyeless stood back up, swaying slightly, the eye on his chest glowing. Worth it, he said with a painful grin. They don't call me Eyeless for nothing. Now come on, hero, let's see if you can handle a man who fights blind. These villains are endless and kept coming in waves. Captain Tougharm could only stop them by fighting them into submission, but he has no help and nowhere to lock them up. No jail could hold them. But luckily, our hero wouldn't be alone forever. The American government had taken notice of the situation and was quickly working on a solution to the problem. And as we end this, I like to get a big shout out to all the bitches and hoes. And ask that all the real ones take the time to like and subscribe.